Can bad outcomes reveal good process? Absolutely. I gained a lot of knowledge about the talents of Matt Forte, Ahmad Bradshaw, and Joseph Adai from bad box score games. I'm Matt Waldman of the Rookie Scouting Portfolio, and this is the RSP Boiler Room. The Boiler Room features analysis that I would share with NFL decision makers if they asked for a handful of plays that illustrates the talent, skills, limitations, or developmental upside of an NFL prospect. Georgia running back Nick Chubb got one boiler room treatment this summer. I showcased his acceleration and savvy to manipulate defenders within the confines of a blocking scheme. This episode features Chubb's skill to spot and manage penetration and his physical prowess for executing cuts. Some of these plays have outcomes that the everyday football fan will label as bad, but a film analyst or scout studying a prospect should often place more weight on process over outcome. Let's begin with this 1 yard gain. Not all that impressive upon first viewing, is it? The fan notices the obvious outcome. Chubb slips. It's easy for an overzealous beginner to latch on to any facet of a player's performance that isn't perfect on a given play. Now, if Chubb slips frequently on these types of cutbacks, it would be worth noting. If I didn't see him play before, I'd make a note of it, but I wouldn't draw a conclusion just yet. I've studied enough of Chubb's tape to know that it hasn't been a common issue. It's not something to dwell on. What catches my eye with this play is Chubb's read of the defensive end that crosses the face of the tackle into the backfield. Chubb makes a subtle adjustment to avoid the loss. Spotting and reacting to good backfield penetration is a display of vision that many backs lack. The outcome of this play may seem like a failure, but Chubb's awareness and quick reaction mitigates a potential 3 yard loss that would have occurred if he stayed the course or bounced to the right. Here's another play best described as bad result, good process. Louisville's defensive end gets a yard of penetration inside the lead fullback. This move blocks Chubb's primary crease, which is behind the pulling guard, who double teams with the play side tackle to seal the middle. The tackle and safety contain the edge, and they face down Chubb with a 2-on-1 advantage, with the runner still 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. But Chubb is quick enough and sharp enough with his cuts that he knifes inside the tackle within the next step and earns a yard before 4 defenders converge on him to limit the total gain. Starter caliber professionals are capable of the same cut, and like Chubb, they understand when taking the short gain inside is more important than trying for the big play bounce out. This is a first down inside Georgia's 10 in a tie ball game. The back that attempts a home run bounce out in this game situation generally lacks maturity and isn't playing team-oriented football. We all know of players who have the skill to take these risks in these situations, but they are the exceptions to the rule in the NFL. There are far more backs every year who receive undeserved praise as great pro prospects for successfully bouncing plays outside for long gains. Unfortunately, those most impressed with speed aren't always projecting these college performances through an accurate professional lens, and they don't realize that they're overestimating the runner's athletic ability and underestimating the value of good judgment. Here's a great display of dynamic and subtle movement integrated into a single run. Chubb wants to work behind the double team of the center and right guard, but the defensive tackle crosses the face of the right tackle and shoots the gap that this double team initially creates. Chubb plants his inside foot and slides outside to get around his tackle. Now note how he dips his inside shoulder away from the penetration. He then cuts downhill with his pad square, accelerating through the new crease, and dips his outside shoulder away from the safety climbing into the gap. Slide, left shoulder dip. Cut, right shoulder dip, all in succession and to the tune of 8 yards. Encounter this situation in Madden, and most of you will bounce this play outside because you're reacting without deep knowledge of the blocking scheme. The same is true of top college backs. They get away with it at this level, but most won't in the NFL. Sometimes a prospect displays a skill in one situation that can be transposed to another. This screen pass is a good example. Although Chubb steps out of bounds before the part of the play that I'm spotlighting, the cutback he makes at the numbers of the Auburn 7 is still noteworthy. Consider the range of depth that Chubb achieves when he sinks his hips and bends his knees into this cutback. This is the kind of flexibility, strength, and explosion that backs with top-tier agility possess. Backs that make or made these cuts during their careers include the likes of Emmitt Smith, Ray Rice, Edgerrin James, Fred Taylor, Jamal Anderson, Kristen Michael, C.J. Anderson, Barry Sanders, and even Spencer Ware. Some of my favorite plays to analyze are losses due to backfield penetration. Most people write off these plays as great defensive efforts and move on. But these are equally great opportunities to study a runner's awareness and reactions. Chubb sees the penetration to his right as he takes the exchange and plants his outside foot as he tucks the ball. He knows that his only option is a cut to the left side. He's snowed under by the penetration from his left, but his reaction is to lean through the contact and fall forward. On this play, Chubb, or any other back in the situation, doesn't see every gap with freeze frame clarity in the blink of an eye. This is not the Matrix. But his behavior on this play reveals a player whose reactions are based on multiple good habits ingrained into his game with the help of drills, practice, film study, and game experience. These reactions include reading penetration, controlling the width and pace of his stride, his pad level, and his body lean. He's integrating all of these skills in a demanding and unexpected situation. The old school way of defining what I just said is that Chubb has feel, instincts, and intangibles. Here's a huge hole on a well-blocked cutback. It's not a demanding test of Chubb's vision, but note the bend in his hips during the two parts of this run. First, the initial cut after the exchange. Then the bend around number 3, the linebacker, and after that number 20 at the 37-yard line. Sinking the hips into hard cuts is important for successful change of direction in tight spaces. Bending and swiveling the hips helps in the open field while running at full speed. Chubb's hip flexibility is good enough to bend like a slalom racer on a ski slope. It helps him avoid two defenders who otherwise would have limited Chubb's game. Not all of these players are Saturday pretty, but if you're seeking a player with what it takes to be Sunday gritty, Nick Chubb is the running back with the game that rises to the top of the list. Thanks again for watching. For more Boiler Room episodes, check out my YouTube channel, the RSP Film Room, and subscribe to my blog, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.